Yep. Should be live here, should we? Let me double check. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Hello. Hello, everyone. Been a minute. Been a while. Been a long time, busy man. Never done one of these. Oh, 2.5 months, but either way. 2.5 months, man, but either way. Sounding good. Sounding good. Sounding good. Seeing the thumbnail, we're looking good. Speaking of thumbnails, in the meantime, let me give it a minute for a lot of people to kind of roll in there. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. We can do like usual. We're going to give it a 5-minute mark. And then when we get to that 5-minute mark, we're just going to get started. Roll with whoever we got. If we don't got it, is what it is, partner. But anyway, we are kind of waiting here and kind of waiting for people to come in. Hello, this is J&W Boss here. And this is the J&W versus the World podcast, Universe Mode Theme podcast, where we scour the globe and see what the universe has to offer. And this time we are kind of sticking home here. We're kind of sticking home, playing at home base with TNA Final Resolution, the show that was uploaded about a week ago at this point, close to a week ago at this point. And I guess again, if we're kind of allowing people to get in here, I just want to explain really how I kind of got things rolling now, because I kind of figured things out as I started working recently. So, the game plan. And that's assuming, life doesn't happen. That's assuming stuff doesn't change. That's assuming whatever. Game plan is Fridays we're going to do this. Because it's nice, it's calm, it's relaxing, pretty easy setup. And it's pretty fun. Pretty fun to do, like doing it, miss doing it. We're going to do this on Saturdays. On Fridays, sorry. Saturdays is going to be more or less PS2 stuff. I'm going to kind of get back into that since it's been a good minute since I've done that as well, since I've mainly been focusing on my universe mode content. What's up, Cole? What's up? But I was indicating that Friday we're going to do more of this. I'm going to definitely want to bring this back, and this has always been pretty fun to do. Saturdays we're going to kind of get back into doing the PS2 stuff, because that's always been cool. It's always been fun, and I know a lot of you guys liked it. It was difficult for me to figure out, okay, when can I fit this in? And Sunday, well, it really depends. If I want to do something, I will. If I don't, I just won't. But without further ado, we got about 2 minutes in. We're going to allow about 2 minutes for people to get in. Give people that grace period, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, so that's the game plan. So Friday, we're going to do more of these podcasts here. Saturday, we're going to do some PS2 stuff. We're going to look to finish up Here Comes the Pain and Mountain vs. Raw 2007 GMO stuff before we do anything else, because I need to finish those. We're about halfway through. We're around SummerSlam, I want to say, for both games. So we're getting there. We're slowly but surely. We're getting there. And Sunday, if I feel like doing something, then that's the day I'll dedicate to do that. Sunday, if I feel like doing something, that'll be the day that I dedicate to do that. Every other time, I'm either just working on my universe mode or, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as far as the YouTube stuff goes, anyway. And speaking of podcasts, another thing, real quick. Speaking of podcasts, I just got finished listening to one. It was a great one by a good friend of mine. the Better Not Bitter podcast, and I've been loving every minute of it. It's been very enlightening in a lot of ways, and been very enriching in a lot of ways, and it's also been very motivating in a lot of ways. And the person who created, or the thumbnail that you're seeing for the general podcast, not this one, but the one that gets you to this video, anyway, that one, the base of it was actually created by one of my friends as well, so I will, with their permission, basically link the podcast. So Better Not Bitter podcast, lit stuff, yo, lit stuff for real. Shout out to him. But anyway, I think we're about 5 minutes in at this point. I've kind of gone over a lot of the preliminaries. So without further ado, let's kind of get into this pay-per-view itself here. TNA's Final Resolution, the third pay-per-view in this TNA Universe Mode series. Emanating from Toronto, Canada, mainly because it's centered around the guy that you're seeing dead center on your screen, Christian. And the build, and I didn't get the chance to talk about this, so I'm going to go and talk about this now. I usually, before pay-per-views and stuff get on, and I like to talk about the build and stuff to the shows. Honestly, build-wise for the show, it wasn't... I actually didn't mind the build for this. I thought the main event, which we're going to get into, was built pretty well, even with that last-minute change of plans. Even kind of like that last-minute change of plans in that main event. So even with that, I still thought it built well, and so by the time you got to the go-home show, hopefully you were ready. You were kind of excited to see the show. And this show had a lot in it. A lot in it. And we're going to get into it right now because the opening matchup was Jon Moxley versus Christian in a Fall Count Anywhere matchup. And the stipulation was that if Jon Moxley wins, he will be added to the main event in a triple threat match. Because originally, the main event was going to be Jon Moxley versus Christian for the TNA World Championship. Now, the reason why that was changed in the first place, reason why I came up with this whole thing with Booker and Booker and Christian costing Moxley the championship, for a few reasons. Number one, I feel like it was an interesting way to spice things up. It was an interesting way to kind of spice things up, to make things a little bit interesting, because just that match of Christian versus Moxley alone, if I just kept it standard for the World Championship, I am almost guaranteed people would have saw Moxley win this matchup. I'm almost guaranteed people potentially would have saw Moxley winning this matchup, especially since Christian's momentum as being a main event guy didn't really begin until the beginning of the build toward Final Resolution. So, at the end of the day, Christian was already kind of put in that position to be, just another guy that Jon Moxley could have knocked off his, his little list or whatever. And I don't think it would have been a bad match, and honestly, these two didn't have a bad Fall Count Anywhere match here. But for that to close out the show would have been cool. I don't think people would have minded, but the way I was thinking is like, okay, let's get a little bit more interesting. Let's do something a little bit more interesting here. And so I think we did that with Christian costing Moxley the match against Booker and all of that stuff, which led to this match here. Moxley wins. He gets a chance to be in the main event. And overall, I didn't think it was a bad start. I mean, Moxley gets the jump on Christian pretty early, which makes sense. Because, Moxley wanted to get revenge on Christian for costing him the World Championship and this, that, and the third. Hello to everybody that just jumped in here. Feel free to drop a comment, anything. have any questions, feel free to drop them. It doesn't have to be related to the show. Feel free to drop them. I read all comments. Anyway, didn't start off bad. Moxley gets the jump on Christian pretty early. Fight to the crowd. Moxley doing his thing, beating the brakes off of Christian. It's looking pretty rough for Christian there. Especially if we get started here, getting hit with anything under the sun. They're fighting towards the side of the stage. Christian finally gets some offense in. And the story I was basically trying to tell is Moxley's trying to destroy Christian while Christian's trying to get out of there as soon as possible. And I think that story was told pretty well. I mean, you saw Christian's desperation kick in. And Christian, he looked like a fighter, though. He didn't look like a chump. I don't think I made Christian look like a chump in that match. He looked like a fighter. He fought hard, had a good moment of offense. Jumped off the stage, which was pretty cool. Got a nice 2 count. Tried to continue with offense on Moxley, which evidently didn't work for him. And Moxley was able to get back in control. Since we were in Toronto, I did something a little bit interesting here. And Moxley, towards the end of the match, hits the sweet chin music. He proceeds to let Toronto know what he thinks of them, and then proceeds to put Christian in the sharpshooter. Honestly, the second I had Moxley versus Christian down for a match at Final Resolution, and I got the location for the show, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So that spot I had in my back pocket for a long time. Again, ever since that match was announced. And so the fact they were able to pull it off right there, it worked, especially since, the crowd was booing Moxley, because, Christian's the hometown guy and everything. And it was interesting, because Christian's technically a heel in the series. I mean, for those that, maybe don't keep up like that, Christian is a heel in the series. Straight up. Heel in the series. Moxley, straight up face in the series. But for this one show, the role will reverse. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was good. I think it worked. I think it worked. And what I was mentioning was, it was interesting because this Christian straight up heel in the theory, Moxley straight up face, but for one night, roles were reversed. And Christian was like super over as a face. So it's going to be so weird doing TNA again and like going to the next episode and having to turn Christian heel again. I think I can make it work, but like given for like this one show, roles were completely reversed. It was kind of cool, but it also kind of, to me, added even more to the pay-per-view. And speaking of adding things, Christian is locked in the sharpshooter here, and then we see the symbol on the screen. I kind of played this off as the lights going out. I think, honestly, I could have did that part a little bit better. I don't know how, but I really feel like I could have did that part a little bit better. There could have been more, I felt like it was a cool moment, but it lacks that, that punch, that impact, you know what I mean? No pun intended. But then Sami Callihan returns. The last time, which works because last time we see Sami Callihan, it was in the tables, ladders, and chairs match with Jon Moxley, or as he was known at the time, and Dean Ambrose. He was known as Dean Ambrose for the TNA World Championship back at Genesis in the tables, ladders, and chairs match in which Jon Moxley won the World Championship in the first place. So he comes back here, gets his revenge, hits him with a chair, DDTs him on the apron, all of that. So it's a cool moment. Like I said, maybe that reveal could have had a little bit more of a punch to it. But either way, it allowed Christian the chance to take advantage of it. Hits him with the Unprettier on the steel chair. I did not plan for him to hit the steel chair. It just happened, and I was completely okay with it. And Christian wins, which means Jon Moxley is out of the main event, which means the main event is just Booker versus Christian, which is heel, technically in the series, is heel versus heel, which is a weird combination, because that's one that you usually don't see. But honestly, overall, I didn't think this was a bad opener. I think it was a good way to kick off to kick off the show. Kicks it off with a little bit of a hardcore style match here, and it kind of sets the tone. That match really kind of set the tone for what you were going to see during the rest of the night, especially with what happened after the match. Sami Callihan revealing the two new members of OVE are Johnny Gargano and Cassius Ohno. Because Johnny from Cleveland, and I think Cassius is from Dayton or something like that. He's from some part of Ohio. So they work Ohio versus everything. I would have went with the original OVE, but I could not find a Dave or Jake Chris that worked at all. So I came up with my own. And it worked. Cool little shock there, and I got some stuff planned for them. Even including Mox. So I got some stuff planned there. Should be a fun ride. Hold on a second, guys. Alright, we're good? Okay, no, we're good. Alright, never mind. I'm good. Anyways. Overall, I would probably give that match 3.25 stars. 3.25 stars for that. It wasn't bad. Good opener, good start. And to me, really kind of set the tone. And so, after that, we go into a TJP promo. Essentially, purpose is he's trash talking Christopher Daniels. He's saying all this stuff about Christopher Daniels, saying while him and AJ have this whole friendship issue going on, he's going to beat him for the Activision Championship. Short, sweet, to the point. Kind of gets over, the Activision Championship match later. And it's a perfect segue into the next matchup between AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley. The backstory for this one is kind of stemming from Genesis here, in which, technically no, it's stemming from episode 1, where it was like Bobby Lashley versus AJ in a one-on-one match. So, AJ Styles beats Bobby Lashley in one-on-one. And then Bobby kind of gets in AJ's head by attacking Christopher Daniels. And this sets up the 2-on-1 handicap match. Daniels and AJ versus Lashley at Genesis. AJ and Daniels win. Lashley then goes off to have that match with Monty Brown. Should have saved that for a Slammiversary. I should have saved that for a Slammiversary, but anyway. Anyway, the match is done now. Can't take it back at this point. But anyway, I get because I was bringing in Monty and I wanted him to do something like immediately, and Bobby Lashley was like the first guy I thought of. But anyway, we'll get to Monty Brown in a minute. Anyway, right, he has the match with Monty. He loses. That doesn't help. And then he goes into this match here with AJ because he said when he finished with Monty, he's going to come back after AJ, and AJ's the dead man pretty much. The match with AJ and Bobby, or the one with him and or the one with Monty and Bobby. What match are you referring to? I'm gonna continue answer that question. So AJ actually technicality AJ and Bobby should have happened at Turning Point. From a logical perspective, AJ and Bobby should have happened at Turning Point instead of me doing the roundabout thing and having Bobby come back to. That should have happened I should have saved that for like a Slammiversary or something. I should have saved that for like a Slammiversary. I'm kind of mad at that one. But no, don't worry. No, I got some cool stuff for Monty though. I got some cool stuff for him because I know where I want him to be by the end of all of this. So he's gonna be okay. Bobby's gonna be fine too. I got some stuff. I got some stuff in mind for him too. So Bobby's gonna be fine. Monty's gonna be fine. I shouldn't have did that match where I did it at. Why did that? I don't know. I should have saved that one. Anyway, AJ, Bobby. It was a cool down from that first match, but upon watching it back, it wasn't that bad. I mean, a pretty simple story. Relatively simple story here with AJ and Bobby. You had AJ really trying to wear down Bobby Lashley. AJ being quicker than Lashley on a couple of occasions. AJ really kind of working on wearing down the leg. Bobby showcasing his power, and finish comes. I'm going to just jump ahead here. Finish comes when AJ, he's going for the phenomenal form. Bobby moves out of the way, dominated him twice, gets the win. So Bobby wins. In a match, admittedly, I didn't think it was bad. I give it 3 stars, personally. 3, 2.25. 2.25. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think that's a strong 2.25. It wasn't, because to me, I consider 2 stars average. To me, I consider 2 stars average. 3 good, 4 is great, 5 is, well, 5 stars, excellent, stellar. 2.25 for this, 2 3/4 for this. It wasn't a bad match. I didn't think it was a bad match at all. Maybe there could have been a little bit more story behind it. It probably would have helped maybe if I did Bobby versus AJ at Turning Point and either swapped him and Monty or just did Bobby versus AJ at Turning Point like some common sense here. But Bobby gets the win. He finally gets the pay-per-view win, and the main reason I had him win this one, 2 different reasons. Number 1, I didn't want to give Bobby Lashley a 3rd loss in a row on pay-per-view. And number 2, it kind of, sort of, actually, no, it does. It plays into kind of what happens later on in the X Division title stuff with TJP and Christopher Daniels. So it worked. I think overall this match worked. Told a good story. Bobby Lashley looked good. AJ looked good. Even in defeat, still looked good. And we move forward. Bobby Lashley gets the win. We will see what he does from there. Next matchup. We go right into another match here. Candice LeRae versus Awesome Kong in a tables match. This one went a bit too long for the 2 matches I'm going to say that about. This is one of those matches. This went a bit too long for my liking. Upon even watching it back in the premiere, I'm like, okay, it's a little bit too long. And maybe because in part I know how this game is. Yeah, man. Yeah. But I felt like I don't think it told a good story. And I think maybe if 2K had better, mechanics, this wouldn't have been too bad. But since their, weapon mechanics aren't that great, it was I think the reason why I never do tables matches, this is probably the best table match I've done, because I've only done 2 of them. Actually, 3. I did one on AOA with Monster and Dave. That one was trash. Sami Callihan versus Christian. That was really kind of just a squash match, so I kind of don't count that one. But this one, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't super amazing anyways. Told a good story though. It really just told a good story with how Ken is gonna put Awesome Kong to her table, and Kong was just overpowering her and this, that, and the third. Candy fought out a couple times. I did a good job of teasing it though, teasing somebody going through a table. At least with the mechanics that 2K has at their disposal, I think I did a pretty good job with it. Finish comes where after Candice LeRae kind of got Awesome bombed and implant busted on the floor, Awesome Kong brings her back in, and then when Awesome Kong goes to charge at Candice to put her through the table after some significant time has passed, Candice was able to sidestep. Kong goes to the table. Kong loses. Candice LeRae wins. This was probably the best finish I could have came up with for this match, mainly because it keeps Kong looking good. Taking an L, granted, but she didn't get pinned. She didn't get submitted. And I was even playing it up on commentary Candice kind of survived that match with Awesome Kong, barely escaped, Not downplaying Candice, really. Because, I commended her for being cunning, able to get out of there, whatever. And, but it worked. I think it worked. Kong looked good. Gives Candice another good win, especially, going in, continuing her rivalry with Tessa. And we are going to get to Tessa Blanchard in a good minute. We are going to get to Tessa Blanchard in a good minute here. But nonetheless, this worked. I think this match worked for what it was. 2.5, not great, not too good. It was alright. It got the job done. It did what it needed to do. Made Awesome Kong look good, and made Candace look like $1 million. Made Awesome Kong look good, made Candace look like $1 million there. And we move on to there was a backstage segment next with Christian and Tomko. Long story short of this conversation, Christian was gloating about his victory against Booker T. Or no. Christian was gloating against his victory, gloating about his victory against Jon Moxley. Saying that's how he rolls, and then that and the third, and tonight he's going to win the World Championship from Booker T. And he asked Tomko, hey, are you okay with what we talked about? And then Tomko indicated, yeah, everything's cool, I'm okay. Rhino and I are going to hang back here, while you and him, you'll figure out who him is, go watch you win the world title. And so that basically sets that up, a little surprise teaser and thingamajig for later. After that, we jump into Feast or Fired, which essentially was a 5-person Money in the Bank ladder match. So, for those that don't know the original rules of Feast or Fired, the original rules of Feast or Fired are way more complex than they should be. So, for those that didn't watch TNA or even Impact Wrestling, I think did this for a little bit. The Feast or Fire match, you had like 4 cases. And inside each case was either a championship opportunity or a pink slip. The fun part is that you didn't know exactly what you got. So you grabbed a case, and it could have been a championship opportunity or it could have been a pink slip, aka you fired. But, of course, there's no way to pull that off in the 2K game, so I did the best that I could. And so I kind of changed up the Feast or Fire concept a bit, and so I was kind of playing it up that the briefcase has all the power. Meaning, you get to pick what championship you go after. You get to pick who you go after, what championship you go after, and then you get to fire someone from who was in the match. And the guys who were in this matchup were Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Monty Brown, John Cena, Samoa Joe, and Shinsuke Nakamura. 5 guys that should probably be nowhere near a ladder, but either way, we're still here. This was this was like my first time ever doing like a multi-man ladder match like that. First time doing a Money in the Bank style match. This was actually pretty fun. The way I had to kind of do this is that I had to switch out here and there between different guys. I had to there were several times I had to cut to somebody else, either to keep them busy or to, have them have their moment of shine in the match and everything. And I think everybody looked good. Everybody looked good, especially Shinsuke, who was Kinshasa and everybody. Poor Cena. Monty Brown. I think Monty hit the pounce on someone in this match. I think everybody hit their finisher. I think at least once, or I think in Drew case, he hit it like 3 or 4 times with somebody. But this was Samoa Joe. But this was a fun little match here. We got the ladder bridge spot happening. People got slammed on the ladder, knocked off it. There were a couple of guys that were like so close to getting it. I think Drew and Shinsuke were like the top 2 that came like super close to getting it. Joe, I think Joe came close at one point too. No, I think it was mainly between like Drew and Shinsuke. Drew and Shinsuke were like the top 2 guys that were like really close to getting it during this matchup. I think Joe had his moment too. I think Monty was the only guy that didn't. Cause I don't think Monty climbed that ladder like once in this match. I don't think. But lo and behold, it ended up being like this mad race at the end. And John Cena took advantage because Drew was down, or no. Monty was down, Samoa Joe was down, Drew and Shinsuke were fighting on the outside, and then like Shinsuke, last minute tried to stop Cena, but by then it was too late. John Cena wins, he gains the Future Fire briefcase in about a 3.5-star match. I liked it. It was cool. Fun. Quite fun, actually. This is for my first time doing something like this. And I definitely got something in mind for some of these guys afterwards. I definitely got something in mind for some of these guys afterwards. Because I think everybody looked good. Everybody looked good here. And I think I know who's going to go. I know who's going to end up going here. And the way, if I can kind of keep on task with everything I'm thinking about here, the way this person's going to go, it's going to suck. And it's going to hit hard, man. So that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough. But it was a fun match nonetheless. I was impressed. I was proud of how it went. I was proud of how it went, honestly. So the next match, we just go right into another match. Kairi Sane versus Tessa Blanchard, where Tessa lost in like a minute. and the funny thing about that matchup between Kairi and Tessa, I was originally, up until about the time I was ready to record it, all the way up until the moment I was about ready to record this matchup, this match was actually going to go a decent length of time. Like, I was going to have these two have a straight up wrestling match. And then while I was recording, I realized, wait a minute, no, they're not actually about to have a straight up wrestling match. And so what changed my perception here from going from a standard wrestling match to a straight up squash match, and Kairi Sane kind of snapping out a bit here, was the fact that we could see these two go at it. We really could. We could definitely see a match between Kairi and Tessa straight up one-on-one doing the thing. With Kairi winning. But if we did that, where would Tessa have really gone from here? I mean, I think this finish was better. Because first it brings Kairi back from that law losing to Candice at a turning point. It does that. A. B. It does in a warped way. It kind of saves Tessa a bit. It saves her because the big match. I'm sure some of y'all can probably see the bigger picture here. But the big match I've been teasing this whole time, and wanted to get to this whole time, is Candice versus Tessa one-on-one. That's the end goal. Some of y'all that watch know the big picture. End goal: Tessa versus Candice one-on-one. But the whole crux of this been, every time Candice wanted to get her hands on Tessa, there's always been some type of roadblock in the way. And so now this time, this roadblock comes at the hands of Kairi Sane, who snaps, beats the mess out of Tessa, and Sane elbowed her like 5 or 6 times before and after the match, or during and after the match, combining, total during and after the match. Stomped on the next 2 times with a steel chair around it, because that's what Tessa did to Kairi, so Kairi gets a little bit of revenge here on Tessa Blanchard. Because, Tessa got her come up, and that leaves at the hand of Kairi Sane for now. And so that's why I feel this worked. So quality-wise, honestly, 1 star, because it wasn't that. No, I'm kidding. Quality-wise, 1 star, because it wasn't really much of a match, but I felt that this match, to me, did a decent job of serving the overall general story. So there's definitely going to be some stuff I need to follow up on, and I need to make sure I hit those, I kind of hit those points. And I'm sure some of you other Universe Mode creators can agree. Sometimes you do something crazy after a pay-per-view. One of the things that you want to, make sure you do is, to properly follow up, to properly address it, to properly give it that spotlight that it needs to, to kind of serve your overall story, or to serve the person that you did the crazy thing with in the first place. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the thing there. It worked. I think in this case it worked. And I do got some stuff planned, and you're gonna have to stick around, stay tuned, see what happens. See what happens there, because this one was an interesting one. We immediately, oh wait, actually no, we have John Cena in the back talking about winning the Feature Fire. He got to Bound for Glory to make his decision on what championship he's going after and who he's going to fire. I already knew what championship we were going after the moment I decided to do the Feature Fire concept, so I've been planning this literally since about episode 1 with this guy. So I know what's going to happen. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun little wild ride I have with Cena. This is going to be a fun one. I've honestly been loving the John Cena character in my portrayal of him. Because I think he's been like the most fun I've had. Like him and Angle have been like my top 2 personal favorite characters to book. Actually, him, Angle, and Moxley have been like my top 3 guys I've been having fun to book. I've been having a lot of fun booking with in the series, because I feel like given that I have like a general purpose, I kind of know where I want to go with each guy. Knowing where I want to get from, kind of like from A to B with them. I don't know when I will be able to get to A to B with them guys. It's gonna be interesting. So I got some fun stuff playing for Cena. The next match. We jump to the next match. Christopher Daniels versus TJP for the X Division Championship. You know, someone actually left a comment on Final Resolution a little while ago. They kind of explained, they kind of explained all night. And they said TJP versus Christopher Daniels was a 5-star classic. I thank you to the person who put that comment. To the people that I know who were watching it, a lot of people loved that match. I didn't mind it at the time, but upon further reflection, I do not think super highly of that matchup. It was well paced, yes. Good action, yes. It was those last few minutes. And to me, this show peaked right here. I feel like this show hit a peak right here because after that, it kind of simmered down a bit. Peaked there, simmered down, and it didn't return back to this level. And I think that's my main thing with this matchup. Even when I was commentating it, I don't know why. Maybe because I was kind of just calling a 2.5 hour show, that's number one. But even watching it back, I felt like the show peaked with this match, simmered down, and it couldn't really get back up to that level. And so that's to me why I don't maybe look at this match that highly here. Especially given that we still had 2 matches to go. If this was like the main event, if this was like co-main event, okay. If this was like the co-main event match of the evening, which honestly it should have been, in hindsight should have been, and then the main event was next, okay, cool. But given that we had this match and then we had 2 more matches to go, this show peaked right here to me. And then it simmered down and it couldn't get back up to that level after that. So, I thought it was good. Well paced. This match went a little bit too longer than I expected or wanted it to. Because I played with the hustling stuff off. Because that's just my style. And sometimes when I'm in a match, I'm just going. I'm just going. Just going. It won't come to my head, just going. We moving. Daniel should have hit his BME way early. Actually, the original finish, I was going to have him hit the BME. There was one point where he hits the Uranagi near the corner. After that, I was going to have him hit the BME, and it was going to be a wrap. And then it went on for a couple of more minutes. And then he hit the Angel Wing, and then by the time he hit the Angel Wing, the finish fell flat. To me, fell flat. Pace good. Started out good. Going great, actually. Really good match. And then Daniel couldn't hit the BME. And then, yeah. So, if this match would have ended several minutes prior to when it ended, and if this match didn't have the implications of peaking the show at this particular point in my mind, I would then again, I know I'm my own worst critic. I know that much too. I know that much about myself for a fact. I would personally give this match 3 3/4 stars there. Great. Match of the night? Absolutely. The problem is to me is that it would because of this match that this show peaked at this point and couldn't find a way back. You know, sometimes you do a show, you'll have a match, it'll peak here, then you'll simmer down, but then you'll kind of get back up there. You couldn't get there with this show. To me, after this match, it could not get back to that level that it was at. It couldn't. Just couldn't. So, great match. Definitely an X Division match I'm proud of. Definitely an X Division match I'm definitely gonna run back again at some point. But it peaked the show at that point. Great matchup. Beat the show. Kinda hurt the show. Position really kind of killed this one for me. But 3 3/4, I still thought it was an excellent match. Post-match, you have this segment with Christopher Daniels. He's talking to AJ Styles about... he's talking to AJ Styles. No, he doesn't want to talk to AJ Styles because the whole time I was kind of teasing that AJ Styles was going to come out and talk to Christopher Daniels after his X Division title match. I even said it on TNA. AJ was going to come out and talk to Christopher Daniels after his X Division title match. Christopher Daniels was like, why should I talk to you? I won. After my performance, I won. I did me. I did my thing. You lost. Why should I talk to you? AJ didn't listen, came out anyway. And then this is where Christopher Daniels kind of gave his whole spill of, he always feels that his career has always been tied to his. IRL has always been a thing, and TNA has kind of been a thing. But Christopher Daniels, he's been kind of the one to do his own thing. And he feels that AJ has been the dude that's been, holding him, by the hand when he doesn't want to. Kind of been holding him by the hand when he doesn't want to. Christopher Daniels wanted to face Bobby Lashley one-on-one at Genesis. But AJ went behind his back and made it a 2-on-1 handicap match. So, it really started from there. Then ever since then, Daniels has been out on this personal mission to prove himself that he doesn't need and is better than Mr. AJ Styles. And so that's kind of why I had AJ lose tonight, because I kind of wanted to give Daniels a little bit of a leg to stand on when it came to that argument. And then he proceeded to challenge him to a match at Destination X for the X Division Championship. Now, the next TNA pay-per-view is against All Odds. Destination X is after that. So technically, in game times, you got 2 months. 2 months to build to that pay-per-view. And so, Daniel versus AJ, honestly, if built right, this could probably, number one, be the best X Division match, X Division feud that we have. And it could potentially be good enough to main event the X Division pay-per-view, which means the X Division Championship could main event the show, which would be awesome. Because I really like what I'm doing with the X Division. I definitely got a lot of guys who can work, and definitely got a lot of guys who I can mess around with. And so putting Daniels and AJ kind of in this prime spot really helps out. You know what I'm saying? So I like this angle. It's been slow. It's super slow burn. I haven't really had AJ or Daniels touch or fight or none of that. But I'm looking forward to getting to Destination X so we can get that match on and popping. The next match and the co-main event for the evening, the Young Bucks in tag team action, but we are unsure against who. Because the reason they're not facing the Undisputed Era is because the Undisputed Era feels that the Young Bucks did not deserve a tag team title shot. And that was also kind of my way of writing around the fact that I haven't done anything to put the Young Bucks in a tag team title position. They attacked the Undisputed Era at Turning Point, yes. And they won several tag matches. They beat Booker T and Kevin Nash. They beat some other teams too. I'm almost certain they beat a couple of other teams. Like maybe won a couple of tag matches there and there that I can remember. But other than that, Young Bucks really been, they just got here. You know what I'm saying? They just got here. So I'm kind of want to build to that match. We kind of want to build that matchup. And this is one of the roadblocks that stood in their way. They had to beat a team, and they didn't know who they were. And the team in question was Abyss and Judas Matthias. Debuting Judas Matthias to the series. For those that never knew who Judas Matthias was, he was in TNA around 2008, late 07, early 2008. He also wrestled in Mexico as well, or AAA as well. So Judas Matthias, he was always a super cool character to me. He was always super cool. Always liked him. It was kind of a shame. I wish he stuck around a bit more. But I think it was like due to contractual issues that they were having with AAA that like he couldn't stick around. But they brought him back a couple of times since then. Like Impact Wrestling has had him on their one night only events, on a couple of their one night only events. So he showed up sporadically here and there, but for the most part, his 2007-8 run was like the closest we got. And if you kind of want to know what that run was like, Marky D has a great video on that. Go and check him out. Ring of the Hawk. Shout out to Marky D, man. Excellent YouTuber, for real. Anyway, Judas Matthias, and I have him team up with Abyss here. Poor Young Buck. This wasn't a full-on squad match, but Young Bucks ain't look too hot here. They had one really cool moment, though. They were just getting a string of offense in on the bench, just back and forth, just dive, doing what they can to keep them down. So that was cool, and it created a little bit of a believable moment to me, at least. I don't know if it did for y'all, but I believed it. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. And I also got to commend myself. I got to commend myself here. This match didn't get super chaotic, like a lot of the other tag matches would. They didn't have guys jumping in and doing all this crazy stuff. Told a simple story, simple flow, tag match, and it worked. Wasn't bad. Wasn't super great. Abyss and Judas wins. I got some fun stuff planned for them. So, 3 stars for this one. It was good. Told a good story. Story purposes, I give it 3. It was good. Good work. And then we just jump right into the main event right after that. Booker T versus Christian for the TNA World Championship with Christian, yes, cornerman Edge. Because why not? Haven't you done this there before? Giving me a perfect chance to do it. We're in Canada, in kayfabe, so there you go. It works out perfectly. Edge being the cornerman for Christian. And this match, actually, upon looking back, surprised me with how it turned out. Technically heel versus heel, but Christian kind of looked like a face here. Hey, what's up? Welcome. Speaking of podcast, while you're sitting right here, check out the Better, Not Bitter podcast on this person's channel. I've been thoroughly engaged. I've been thoroughly intrigued. If you would like to post that link here, you have the right to do so. But I was thoroughly engaged. I was thoroughly intrigued. Very enlightening in a lot of ways as well. Speaking of podcasts, check hers out. Good work. Great work. Excellent work. I listened to it right before I came on here. Excellent work. Some great stuff. Keep up the good work. Into it. Anyway. Main event. Moxley. Booker T. No. Christian Booker T. This match surprised me with how it turned out. Mainly because of how different this was. I mean, this was a heel versus heel affair. This match was interesting from the standpoint of you can logically see either one of these two leaving this one. You can logically, given that Moxley's out of the picture, you can see either one of these two guys winning this matchup. Because you can argue Christian could win it because he had this would really kind of cap off his heroic night that he's had. This would really kind of cap that off for him. Winning, give him a good hometown win in front of his buddy and all this other stuff. But you can argue Booker T could have retained here as well. Due to, Christian being super beat up and hurt. Which is the main reason why why Booker retains here. Because Christian was super beat up and hurt. Because he had a match earlier in the show. And he also had a steel cage match with Abyss a few days in kayfabe prior to that pay-per-view. So this was interesting, but it turned out way better than it technically should have. Given the circumstances, given the guys in the match, I honestly did not think these two guys' moveset would click as well as they did, but this turned out pretty good. I was actually pretty impressed with this one. I felt their moveset clicked, the story clicked, Edge being at ringside, he didn't do anything. Thank you, 2K and your AIs, but either way, whatever. I don't know. I might do something with Edge again. I might bring him back in here and there. I don't think I'm going to keep Edge around as like a permanent guy in the series, but he may show up here and there. But at the end of the day, I think Christian, the finish comes. I think Christian was trying to go for a frog splash of some sort. Booker got the knees up, caught him with the bookend, and I think he caught him with the scissors kick too. 1, 2, 3. Booker retains. He's still the world champion. As he's leaving, he then gets jumped by Kurt Angle, who just beats the mess out of this guy. Puts him in the ankle lock, makes him submit, and then he proceeds to hit him with the Angle Slam on the championship, grabs the belt, leaves. So Kurt Angle technically steals the championship, and we close out Final Resolution. Overall, this match, I would give it a good 3.25 stars. It wasn't bad. I didn't think it was a bad match in the slightest. Didn't think it was a bad match in the slightest. It had better than any right to be, personally. And it told a good story with Christian, again, with Edge being there. I mean, Edge, I didn't do nothing, but, whatever, 2K, do you. And it worked. And I think this was a case of, story worked, guys worked, and it set some cool stuff going forward with Kurt Angle, which I've been kind of building Kurt up for a while now in the series. And so it's probably about time to really kick things off with Kurt Angle. So it worked. The show contained a lot of surprises. Had some stuff I would have did a little bit differently. Maybe I should have really repositioned where Christopher Daniels and TJP was, because I really felt like, again, the show peaked at that point. Didn't get higher than that. So by the time you got to this match here, it was like the energy kind of left the place. I mean, at least it did with me. Maybe because again I was calling the thing, so that's probably why. I don't know how it was for you guys watching, but for me, by the time I got to this, I was like a little bit drained, not like falling out in my chair type of drained, but I was a little bit drained, so maybe car positioning could have worked a little bit better there in that case. Car position could have worked a little bit better there, but I'm not mad at this pay-per-view. Like I don't look at this pay-per-view and think, okay, there was a, I don't look back on this show and think, okay, I didn't really think there was anything necessarily bad on the show. Maybe you could say it was a little bit overloaded with the Sami Callihan, Johnny and Cassius stuff, with the you can say it was a little bit overloaded in that sense. And I can understand that too, admittedly, with Judah Messiah debuting, with Edge showing up, a little bit overloaded in that sense. And to that I kind of agree, and now I got the fun task of trying to follow all this stuff up, so that's going to be fun. But, I don't think it was a bad show. It wasn't a bad show. I had fun making it. I hope you all had fun enjoying it, and it was really cool because I was actually able to get this show done faster than I really thought I was going to. I mean, with 8 matches, and I think it also helped that we did have a holiday weekend, so I had a good enough time to work on this stuff during my holiday break. So that was a good thing. But overall, it was good. It was a good show. It worked. It was a fun show. I had fun putting it together. I hope you all had fun watching it. And if you haven't watched it and kind of just want to go and see some of the stuff I'm talking about, feel free. Up on the channel, most likely the most recent thing on this channel, because I haven't uploaded anything really since then. And overall, Final Resolution out of 10, I give it about a good 8 out of 10. Good show. I liked it. I'm proud of the work that came out of it. It wasn't perfect. Probably some stuff I'm even going to potentially nitpick even more. I'm my own worst critic. I know that. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm my own worst critic. But I'm not mad at this point. Thought it was good. Enjoyed it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to now open the floor for anybody that have any questions. Open show, man. Give it a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I guess at this moment, since I'm finished reviewing the show here, I'm going to kind of open the floor for like a couple of questions if anyone has them. Either just relating to the show or just in general here. I'm just chilling right now at this point. Show reviewed. Anyone have any just general questions? Anyone questions about the show? Anything? I'll let y'all figure that out. Ask them. Whatever the deal. Next TNA pay-per-view, Against All Odds. Against All Odds in 4 weeks' time, location, or 4 week, 4 episode time. A lot of the pay-per-views are going to go on that 4 episode format. Really? What are your goals? Next pay-per-view is Against All Odds, and in 4 episodes time. What are the goals for TNA? The general goal I have for TNA, honestly, like as far as just like on this channel, or you mean just overall? Like as far as like on this channel specifically, like I can give you my general goals here. My general goals is for TNA to be that not really alternative, but I want TNA to turn into a show where, okay, if you're not into the call stuff on this channel overall, on this channel overall, I want kind of TNA to be at that level that, well, to tell you the truth, overall for this channel, I'm looking for TNA to be one of the main shows I've talked about here on this channel. I mean, I want TNA to kind of be that, that show that, okay, I'm not super into the cost. That you can look at TNA and be like, okay, I'm not super into the cost stuff, but I like this new content. And TNA got a lot of guys who I'm cool with and I can relate with, and I'm cool and I like. So I'm gonna watch that. If I'm not gonna watch anything else, I'm going to watch that. So TNA, I want TNA to kind of serve as that outlet. So like, if you don't watch anything else, if you're not really into the call stuff, if the PS2 gameplay ain't really your thing, because you're like, it's 2021, what you're playing PS2 stuff for. If you don't want to watch anything else on this channel, I want you to watch it. I will want you to at least get invested in TNA. And yes, and I'm saying that knowing that my two call shows are really what I built this thing around. But I want TNA to really be that what's the word I'm looking for? I want TNA to kind of really be that hook that brings people in. Because admittedly, people don't know hardly anyone that I do on my Call Universe mode. Let's be 120% clear. People don't know anyone that I really use in my Call Universe mode unless you like watch like that. But people can look at this thumbnail and say, hey, I know Booker T. Hey, I know Christian. Hey, I know that's supposed to be looking like a Call version of John Moxley. And they'll check it out. So I kind of want TNA to serve as that hook to bring people in. It's faces that people recognize. It's a company that in some ways people wish was still a thing. You know? Some people say, Impact Wrestling isn't that good, or Impact Wrestling kind of died when they stopped calling themselves TNA or whatever. So I want TNA to be that hook that brings people in. Fill them with nostalgia, using the TNA stuff, but bring people in with the faces that people recognize. That's my overall goal for this channel. If you don't like anything else, you got this hook in. And then who knows? You eventually get into the PS2 stuff. Or who knows? You eventually get into the podcast. You eventually get into whatever else I decide to do on here. But if you at least got this initial hook with TNA, I'm set. Any other question? That's a good question, Cole. Good question. Any other question? Anything? Anyone? Is there one? Oh, good man. Let me pose the question to y'all. How y'all doing? How's y'all week going? How's y'all doing? Going good? Y'all week going good? We've only been streaming for... only been streaming for an hour. Not bad. Yeah, good stuff. Fair enough. Okay. Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Like you just chilling. You only at night. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. That's good. Glad you had a fun week, man. My week wasn't that bad. You know, I'm working and all that stuff, but, you know, give or take. Had a pretty good week myself. Can't complain, man. Anyways, I guess on just some personal announcement stuff, I'm going to kind of repeat this again for maybe those that weren't in when I initially stated it. So, going forward, I do kind of plan on going forward with the stuff I do, or going forward just in general. I do want to kind of, be a little bit more, consistent here. So, Friday nights, we're going to kind of dedicate it to, doing this podcast stuff here. A different topic, potentially different guests on, if possible. I have a guest I've been trying to get on for a while now, but like, dude, it's just life and other stuff. It's been difficult, but it's gonna happen one day. So I have a couple guests I've been thinking about trying to get on here at some point. Definitely. But Fridays we're gonna kind of dedicate to doing this podcast now. Saturday evening when I get off. We're gonna kind of dedicate to doing some PS2 stuff. Gonna look to finish up Here Comes the Pain and SmackDown vs. Raw. We're gonna kind of alternate in between weeks. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I might do Here Comes the Pain tomorrow because that's always been fun, and the story mode's always been fun for that. I could do SVR and try to save SmackDown, which has been kind of going into the ground as of late. But you know, whatever. Thanks to me not paying attention to the rosters and stuff, I could try to go save that show. I could try to go save that show, but I feel like I gotta devise some type of military-esque plan to try to save SmackDown right now. So I'm gonna be working on that for the next week. Well, but no, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding, man. But tomorrow I'm gonna be looking to do Here Comes the Pain, because why not? It's been fun. It's been a minute. Why not? Let's get into it. Sunday really depends. If I feel like doing something, I'll do it. If I don't, hey, it is what it is. All Out Revolution is also in the works. I got a couple of matches edited so far. I think I got like maybe a couple more, like 1 or 2 more matches I need to properly edit here. I think I got maybe 1 or 2 more matches I need to edit. And then the segments, so that will be coming out soon. Other than that, that's really all I got news-wise in relation to this. I tend to work on one show at a time, so when I say, hey, I'm working on All Out Revolution, that's the show I'm working on. I'm not out here recording 3 or 4 shows at one time. No, that ain't happening. But I'm working on All Out Revolution, and that should be up soon. Of course, follow me if you haven't. If you want to keep up with me, what I'm doing on the channel or whatever, follow me on Twitter. JNWBossYT. Same logo, same channel logo that you see sitting right here. So give me a follow on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter too. Usually active there, talking about wrestling, YouTube stuff, whatever, man. Follow me on Twitter if you can. But really it for me. I ain't got nothing else going on. About to sign off for right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoyed. If you can, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm doing the wrong outro. Dang you. Oh, man. It's been a long time since I've done that other outro, man. I've almost forgot it. Man. Anyway. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out the other videos and streams on this channel. Spread the word about this channel and this podcast. And the next time I see you guys, being boss, and I will holler at you guys later. Have a good Friday, everybody.